OmegaMetroid.com is here. We're so proud to finally share our website with you, giving Metroid fans a dedicated Metroid one-stop shop for the latest news, fan creations, walkthroughs, maps, and of course, the latest episodes of the Omega Metroid podcast. That's not all. If you'd rather listen on YouTube, you can check out episodes there. And if you really want to take your Omega Metroid experience to the next level, consider supporting us on Patreon. You'll get access to special Discord roles, a platform on the website to promote your projects, exclusive bonus shows, and so much more. Memberships start at just as little as $1 a month. OmegaMetroid.com is the source of all this great content. So whether you're a new Metroid fan or a series veteran, OmegaMetroid.com is the place for you. Check out OmegaMetroid.com today.
And welcome to the Omega Metroid podcast from OmegaMetroid.com. My name is Andy Spiteri, joined by my pal Duminal Crossing, and for the first time on this podcast, we have our Omega team member Jules on the show to help us with some Summer of Madness picks today. Jules, how are you?
Hey Andy, hey Doom. I'm doing well today. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
Of course,
yeah. Doing all right. I wanted to have my Metroid Prime Hunter stream finished by now, but I had to push it back because I actually forgot about Omega Metroid Movie Night, which of course takes priority. So we had some fun watching the certified Hood classic, according to Andy at least, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
You know what? Okay, so actually let's set the stage because we're on to something extremely important here. So we had our first ever Omega Metroid Discord movie night last night, and we're going to have another. And actually, Jules is in charge of picking the next movie that we're watching, so that's going to be fantastic. But I've been
thinking about this all day, so I'm ready.
So we watched the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993, which is an incredible, amazing movie. And I'm not being some ironic punk or anything like that. I legitimately, truly believe that this is like an incredible movie. And Doom had never seen it, and I actually didn't even ask you after the movie ended yesterday, Doom, because I had to kind of leave in a quick rush. Which, by the way, I was telling Jules, I didn't even end up going out last night, but that's a story for another day. But I didn't really even ask you, what did you think about the Super Mario Bros. Movie?
I mean, it's not a good movie, but I had fun with it. I mean, it's kind of what I expected. It's a big ol' acid trip. It's exactly what I expected, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, I came in wanting an acid trip, and I got exactly that.
Well, that's one way to put it. But I don't know, man. I love that movie. It's so fun. It's so creative. I'll tell you one thing. I know that the Chris Pratt version is not going to be like that. Speaking of, I was watching a few movies last night because my friend is actually the one that canceled her plans for her birthday last night. So Sam and I stayed in, had a little movie night. We watched the new Prey movie. God, it was awesome. And then we watched...
I want to see that so bad. I've heard so many good reviews about it. It looks like super creative, and yeah, I legit might just get a Hulu membership just to sign up for it.
Dude, it was awesome. I'm not really like a Predator kind of fan. Like, I think that the first one's okay. This movie was wicked. I was actually blown away. I had heard that it was really good, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, it'll probably be fun. But it was really, really good. And then we watched The Gray Man with like 3 of my favorite actors. Like, Ryan Gosling is the absolute man. I love Ryan Gosling. But that was like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. That was so awful. It was so bad. Have you guys seen that movie?
I have not, but I've heard it's gotten a lot of mixed reviews. And so, yeah, I don't really know what to think of that. That's a shame, though, because I also love Gosling.
I love Gosling. I love Evans. I love Ana de Armas. Like, all 3 are awesome. And they made a stinker. Oof.
I did recently see Nope, though. That was awesome, though. I love Nope. That is one you gotta see before it leaves theaters.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try and check that out. Yeah, Prey, awesome. Gray Man, not so much, not so much. But one thing that I know is awesome is the Omega Metroid Summer of Metroid Madness character contest. Say that 3 times fast, I dare you guys. So this is a contest that is going on over on OmegaMetroid.com right now, and as of right now, you will still have about 24 hours to enter the contest and get a bracket in. So I'm going to break down exactly what the heck this contest even is, how you can enter, all that good stuff. And then Jules, Doom, and I are going to make our own Omega Metroid podcast bracket, and we're going to have some fun with that. But what it is essentially a NCAA style bracket tournament with 32 Metroid characters, and they are going to be competing in a series of 1 versus 1 matchups, and you vote for whoever you like best, and then the winner moves on to the next round. Pretty simple, right? So we start off with 32, and then in round 2 we have 16, and then in round 3 we have 8, and etc., until there is only 1 left. So it's a pretty simple concept. Pretty important to point out a few things here. So this is a popularity contest only. So you're not voting for who you think would win in a fight. Maybe that influences actually who you like better, and that's fine. But generally speaking, you're not voting for who you think would win in a fight or who is more powerful or anything like that. You're just voting for like, hey, I like this person more than that person, so they're going to move on to the next round. But the contest, which is kind of cool, is if you head over to our website and go into the post with the Summer of Madness post, which is pinned, by the way, at the very top of the website, you're going to see that at the very bottom of there is somewhere where you can enter to predict the bracket. So kind of just like March Madness, you can go in and you can fill out a complete bracket from round 1 all the way to the finals of who you think is going to win. So I want to repeat that. Who you think all of the people voting are going to vote through and eventually make the winner. So not who you personally would want to win, because if it was me, Kraid would win the whole thing. But who you think is going to win the entire tournament. And you get points for each matchup that you guess correctly. You get 1 point for guessing a round 1 matchup right. You get 2 points for a round 2 matchup, 4 points for round 3, etc., etc. It builds and builds, and if you manage to get the winner right, well, then you got a whole schwack load of points. So that is going on the website right now, and you can win yourself a prize. And the prize that you can win, my friends, is the first ever official piece of Omega Metroid merch that we are going to be rolling out eventually for everyone to be able to buy and to check out or whatever. But if you win this tournament, you're going to be the first person to rock some of that Omega Metroid merch. So it's pretty cool. I've done a test drive of some of that stuff, and I got some samples coming on the way. So pretty excited about that. So did I explain this tournament properly and thoroughly enough to the point where we all understand what we're doing here?
Yeah, and just to emphasize more, this prediction bracket is different than the actual voting. So when you vote, that's who you want to win. You vote for your favorite of these characters. The prediction bracket, again, to emphasize, is who you think will win, and that is totally separate.
Right. Now, I mean, you can vote for who you want to win based off who you pick to win, right? Like, that's definitely a thing. But, yeah, like Doom said, your bracket is who you think is going to win. And when you vote with your heart to see this is who I want to win. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through all of the different matchups and we're going to pick our winner. So there's only going to be 3 votes per round in this small little podcast tournament. So we're going to go through, we're going to list all the characters, and we're going to get to the very, very end. And I actually think that this is a kind of a fun experiment we've got today with the inclusion of you, Jules, because for anybody that doesn't know, Jules is part of the ZeldaCast team and also part of the Omega Metroid team because you're really good at what you do. But you probably would be the first to say you're not like the biggest Metroid fan in the world, right? So I think Doom and I might be able to kind of use our evil powers and influence you if we can.
Yeah, I'm new to the Metroid fan base. Basically, I started with Dread and have worked my way backwards. So I still haven't played, I would say, majority of the game. So there's still some characters I may not be too familiar with. So you may have some sway. I will say that.
This is perfect. So let's. I don't know. Should we just get started here? Should we just rock and roll right into this tournament?
Let's just go right into the deep end. Round 1.
All right. Well, let's get it started with. So there's 32 characters and there's 4 divisions, and the head of division number 1 is, of course, our favorite, your favorite, everybody's favorite heroine, Samus, and she is the obvious number 1 seed of this tournament, and she takes on the Deleter from Metroid Other M. Doom, would you care to tell Jules exactly who the heck the Deleter is?
So the Deleter is basically Among Us before Among Us. The Deleter is sus. He is the imposter. He is one James Pierce. And he is an infiltrator from a side of the Galactic Federation that is specifically trying to cover up the hidden secrets going on at the bottle ship, which is basically bioweapons research and development. And he does that by attempting to kill all of the crew, and almost succeeds too. He takes a lot of those forgettable soldiers with him, but not Samus, because Samus is not sus. She is in fact a crewmate. And I think I speak for everyone. This is a pretty obvious matchup. Samus is my pick, and Samus is going to win in the prediction round for me as well.
Yep. I totally agree. Samus is my pick. I will say that I harbor a little bit of bitterness towards the Deleter, because I actually love that concept. Like, I loved it even when Other M launched. Like, I think the Among Us concept is, like, very cool, but you never get a payoff. You don't even officially find out who the Deleter is. You never officially in the game find that out, I don't think. You kind of infer who the Deleter was, but
the player finds out, but Samus never actually does find out.
Yeah.
It's really messed up.
And then you don't get a boss battle against the Deleter. And you kind of have that stupid alien, like the big robot gimmick boss battle, but you don't have like a proper boss battle proper with the Deleter, which I think brings it down for me. So I really like the concept, but the actual execution, not very good. I think, yeah, Samus is my pick to go into the next round. Jules, I'm assuming you're gonna send our girl Samus forward here.
Of course, it's a no mother brainer to me.
Hey-o.
Silly
Hey.
pun, but, of course. I mean, she's queen of the series. You can't really vote against her.
Well, there you go. Okay, so that's an easy one. That's an obvious one. You know what? These next 2 matchups, though, I think that these are both like really, really good matchups that could go either way.
This next one is gonna break me.
Yeah, I struggled with this. Okay, so we have the next matchup. The winner goes on to face Samus in the next round. Is Quiet Robe versus Admiral Dane, and I think that that's like a really toss-up kind of matchup here, because you have Quiet Robe, who played a big part in Metroid Dread, although he wasn't in Metroid Dread for very much of it. And you've got Admiral Dane, who played a fairly big part in Metroid Prime 3 as well, and kind of like a similar mentor kind of role. So I think that this could go either way, to be honest with you. But I think I picked Quiet Robe to win just because of the recent, like, you know, the recent Metroid Dread bias, if you will. And I think that Quiet Robe is going to sneak it out, but I think that Dane is going to give up a good fight. I'm not sure who I'd vote for between these two. I like both of them. Do you have a pick between any of these guys, Jules?
I went with Admiral Dane just because I feel like more recognizable character. I'm not sure. I mean, they're kind of, like you said, super close, but I know of Admiral Dane before even playing the games. So
wow, okay.
That's what I was going for with my vote here.
Who are you voting for? Just in a I like you better than you kind of vote.
That's a good question. I think I'm still gonna go with Admiral Dane here.
Okay, okay. Doom, what say you? Are we punching Dane's ticket to the next round, or are you Team Quiet Robe?
Well, I mean, anyone who knows me knows that the Chadmiral is my absolute boy. This guy supports Samus all the way through Metroid Prime 3, always has her back, always sticking his neck out for her. Like, this dude is a real G. So much better than Adam. Like, let's be real. This guy is amazing. He's my pick. Unfortunately, I don't think this matchup is going to be as close as you think it is. I think Quiet Robe is going to sweep this round two, and that's going to be my prediction.
Wow.
I think so.
That's going to be my prediction for the winner. But I'm hoping that all our Omega Metroid acolytes come through with the Chadmiral Dane sweep.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, I think I was gonna vote for Admiral Dane too, and you guys kind of convinced me to make it 3 out of 3 for Dane. I don't know. I think that I could see this being a really close matchup. Maybe I'm underestimating the Dread recency bias, but I have a feeling it's gonna be close.
Well,
So I guess we'll see.
Quiet Robe's also like a huge meme on Twitter with like the whole flat egg movement and all that, and so I feel like that as well is going to push a lot of that Quiet Robe vote in. But
Yeah.
I would be happy to be wrong though. So
Well, here's one thing that I would gladly be happy to be wrong about, and that is the next matchup, because in my bracket for OmegaMetroid.com, I selected Adam as the winner, but man, I do not. I'm going to be voting against him, like, all the way 100%. I'm voting Gandreda in this matchup. I think this is going to be a close matchup, because I think that there's going to be some people that I think that clearly Adam is probably more known and has more exposure, but I don't think that people liked him in Metroid Dread. I don't think that anyone liked him in Other M, and I think that I think most people liked him in Fusion. I know that I hate him in Fusion, and there's got to be a few people out there like me that were also not impressed with him. So while I think he's more well known, I think he's more or less liked, if that sentence even made any sense at all. But I think he's going to beat Gandreda, but I'm voting Gandreda for the next round. Are you familiar with Gandreda, Jules?
I am very briefly. No, I know that she right bounty hunter and she has metamorphic abilities. I think so.
Yeah.
I from Metroid Prime 3. So I think my personal vote would have been for her, but I do think I'm with you, Andy, that the popular vote will go to Adam for this one.
All right. Well, we're personal voting here, so if I'm not mistaken, we've got 2 for Gandreda. So it doesn't
Okay.
really matter what you got to say, Doom. But let's hear it.
let's go 3 for 3. I am
Yes!
also voting
My man.
for Gandreda. But for my prediction, like a lot of you guys said, I do predict Adam is ultimately going to eke it out, and I do think this one is going to be a close fight. I think Gandreda is going to put up a hell of a fight, but ultimate Adam will come out on top. One, because like you mentioned, a lot of people do like him in Fusion, myself included. But I also think even in regards to like Dread and Other M, I think while people don't like those incarnations as much, people like the concept of Adam, if that makes sense. Which we've talked about it with Other M before. In general,
Well,
that
we
game
just talked about that
has,
with the deleter. The premise is cool.
yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I do think Adam will eke it out. But yeah, this one's going to be a fun fight to keep your eye on for sure.
Actually, I'm going to save this question for the next time that we get to one of these 3 characters. But let's move on. I think this next one is probably a lock. But let's talk about the SAX from Metroid Fusion, Samus's evil doppelganger, going up against the Omega Pirate, who I just had the pleasure of fighting last week in preparation for our Talon episode. Cool guy, but I think that SAX is just so like scary and awesome that it's pretty hard to vote against the SAX.
Yeah, the Omega Pirate is getting powerbombed both in the WWE sense and in the Metroid sense by this SAX. It's not even a fair fight if we're being real.
I agree. I think this is another no mother brainer here.
Yeah. Okay, so we got two No Mother Brain. Let's keep a count on, on that as we go here. Speaking of evil Samus doppelgangers, we have Dark Samus, the Phazon infected, corrupted Phazon suit from Metroid Prime, and she is going up against the Ridley robot, that rickety, creaky, barely holding on together boss that you fight at the end of Metroid Zero Mission. I actually have a soft spot for this Ridley robot because I just remember playing Zero Mission for the first time and thinking that it was so cool that there was like that extra section of the game. Like I fully expected it to end after Torian and after you fought Mother Brain, and I would have been fine with that because there was so much else in the game. But this Ridley robot showed up, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is so wicked. It's like fighting Meta Ridley. And I kind of took it as like a connection between the Prime series and the 2D series, which maybe, I don't know, maybe it was. But clearly it's Dark Samus here, as cool as the Ridley robot is. It's clearly Dark Samus.
Yeah, again, this one's another easy sweep. I do think that the Ridley robot will put up just a little bit more of a fight than the Omega Pyre just because of that association with Ridley. But yeah, ultimately, Dark Samus is an actual character, and so that one is going to easily take the crown for that.
Yeah.
Yep, agree. Across the board here.
Yeah. I think we can agree that is three Mother no-brainers that we've got so far here.
Yep.
Okay. So the question that I wanted to ask you guys last time when we were talking about Gandreda is, who do you guys think is the most popular of the hunters from Metroid Prime 3 Corruption? Because our next matchup is Gore versus Crocomire, and I might suggest to you guys that I think that I don't know who the most popular is, but I think I know who the least popular is, and I think it's Gore, and I think it's Gore by a lot, actually. And I picked Crocomire for the upset in my bracket, and I'm also going to personally vote for Crocomire as well right now. But so give us your picks. But I'm curious of who you think like the most, like where do you think that goes? Like give us your 1, 2, 3 in terms of the Metroid Prime 3 hunters.
So I think without question, the most popular hunter in Prime 3 we'll get to him when we get to him. Although I mean, there's only one left, so yeah, anyone who's playing Prime 3 knows who I think it is. But yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I think Crocomire is gonna take the upset here because I mean everybody loves Crocomire, especially the Orpheon. If he gets a wind of this poll, it's over. It's a Crocomire sweep if the Orpheon gets in on this.
There you go.
Yeah, I've actually voted for Crocomire here just because I'm just playing Super Metroid now and finally understand why everyone loves him so much. So, yeah, I agree. I would say I think Gore's maybe the least favorite. I think I would agree with that statement as well. So
yeah,
He's got some good memes in Prime 3, but I mean otherwise,
I don't know. I think that Rundus is probably the most popular, but I don't think that Gandreda is actually that far behind.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that in my mind
Yeah.
they're pretty close.
That's a good matchup for next year. If we're booking for next year, let's keep that matchup in mind because I would love to see who would come out on top in that matchup. But yeah, Crocomire, man, he generates that baby face sympathy. Like you see him literally get like sizzled alive and his flesh is melting off, and it's hard not to feel bad for that guy. So I think that could carry him through this tournament for at least through round 1. I think he's going to have a tough time in round 2, but round 1, I think he can have his time in the sun. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's move on to the next matchup here, and I'm not really sure what to make of this next matchup, which is kind of why I put it together.
Yeah, I was gonna say that myself.
We have a weird matchup, but I think it's going to be a good matchup, and that is the Baby Metroid versus Justin Bailey. And of course, we know that Justin Bailey isn't really a character per se, but a version of Samus with, the pink leotard and the green hair. And it was originally a cheat code for the NES version of Metroid back in the day. And it just kind of became known as Justin Bailey. And I love this Justin Bailey design. I think it's like so awesome. But I also think that like the baby Metroid is such an important character in the series too, which, you know, you see its I feel like you've seen its growth, especially in the last like couple years, particularly with like Samus Returns, when the baby was kind of like a playable character. I know that they have that stupid meme from Other M that maybe can bring it down a little bit, but you know, when you think about it, the baby Metroid is actually like a crucial, important character to the series, and it of course eventually becomes the Super Metroid as well. So I think I would personally pick baby Metroid, and I took in my official bracket as well. I predicted baby Metroid. I'm not sure how I think Justin Bailey is either going to be like really popular or it's going to get like completely blown out of the water. And I'm not really sure which one it is, but I think I'm going to guess that baby Metroid is going to take it here. But yeah, interesting matchup, I think.
I kind of feel like I could go either way. I think in my personal bracket, I actually went with Justin Bailey here. I just thought, I don't know, why not? It was kind of funny to me, but
All
so I'll go with that for this. Stick with Justin Bailey.
I think we're going to get a baby Metroid sweep on this one. As I've talked about backstage, personally am not a fan of this matchup, but that is neither here nor there. But regardless, whoever the matchup was, whether it was one of my alternate picks, I still think baby Metroid is going to win either way. So that's going to be both my prediction and my personal pick.
What do you got against this matchup?
Because it's just Samus again.
Oh, jeez. I feel like Justin Bailey is like distinct from Samus.
She's literally the exact same character. Not even a clone of Samus, like SAX. Like, literally the exact same character.
She's got green hair, though. That's got to count for something. Well, we'll see how Justin Bailey does if, you know, if Justin can pull off the upset and ride that wave of momentum all the way to the finals. We'll see. This next matchup, here we go, is a tale of reoccurring bosses in the series. We've got Big Daddy Kraid, fresh off of his Metroid Dread appearance, going up against the one, the only Arachnus, who you might be surprised to learn has appeared in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 games if you count AM2R. Kind of, you know, he's a well-traveled foe in this series, so maybe that will give him some love, but I do think that this is going to be a blowout for the Big Daddy, who just came off a much publicized appearance in Metroid Dread. So I think my personal vote is for Kraid, and my prediction is definitely for Kraid.
Yeah, Arachnus is, sorry buddy, I love you, but he is getting crushed by all 500 beautiful tons of our favorite Big Daddy Kraid. And also, fun fact, Arachnus's boss theme is also used for the Berserker Pirates in Prime 3, which is really interesting, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Listen to it. It's in a slightly different key, but like listen to them back to back. Yeah, they're the same theme.
Oh, all right.
Particularly the fusion version.
Okay, well there you go. Mr. Music comes through again. So, Jules, we've already got Kraid punched to the second round rather. But what do you think here?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go against the grain here. I also voted for Kraid here, so.
All right, there it is. Well, I'm going to suggest to you guys that of any matchup in this tournament, even more so than Samus versus the Deleter, I think that the next matchup is going to be an absolute killing. Like, it's going to be a bloodbath. And I think that there's something sick about me, because I kind of like seeing, like, these matchups where it's just like, it's like 94% one person, and it's like the other guy's like just like in critical condition, he's barely got a pulse. So there's something like satisfying to me about that. And of course I'm talking about Ridley versus the Galactic Federation Trooper that you play as in Federation Force. This poor bloke doesn't even have a name. And Ridley is going to murder this guy. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be a complete landslide, and it's going to be awesome.
Can we at least give this guy a proper burial?
I think there's going to be nothing left to bury, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. This is Yeah, this
no-brainer.
the
Right?
results
No
of this
hard feelings.
matchup might not be appropriate for our website. That's how much of a bloodbath it's going to be.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might end up on Live Leak.
Mother no brainer for sure. I do have a story for you guys, actually, really quickly while we're talking about Ridley. So, I've been running the Fall Brawl and Musical March Madness tournaments over on Zelda Dungeon for the last 4 years. So, it's going to be the fourth Fall Brawl coming up in September. And, these tournaments certainly weren't an original idea, even I think from the idea that I got it from. But I took inspiration for these tournaments from GameFAQs.com, who actually we were also talking about last week. And I don't know if you guys remember, but they had like these big character contests like every year. And I think it was like the third or fourth year in, they decided to do just a tournament strictly with villains, only villains. And I was really excited because Ridley got to, be included, and he was a number 2 seed. And he was up against Diablo, like the Blizzard character, just Diablo. And I was like, Ridley's going to rock him. And I had Ridley going like all the way to the finals. And man, Ridley got crushed by Diablo. I was so upset. I was so heartbroken that my boy just got completely obliterated by this no-name devil wannabe guy that I had not played any Diablo game. I still haven't played any Diablo games. But man, he got killed. It was like 75% to 25%. I was so upset. And Ridley was never back in a GameFAQs contest, and I think about that still to this day sometimes when I'm talking about Ridley.
Damn, that hurts. It doesn't surprise me,
man.
unfortunately, because Diablo is significantly more mainstream than Metroid, but that does pain me in the very soul.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a
So
tough day.
sad. They never put him back in. Is the saddest part.
I know, and I think like by the 5th or 6th year, it was like a complete meme tournament. Like the L Block from Tetris was beating like Link and Cloud Strife and stuff like that, and it was just like, this is garbage. And that's when that tournament kind of died. But it died in my heart the day that Ridley got clobbered by Diablo. So yeah, let's move on to our next matchup and find out who Ridley's going to clobber in the second round. We got the Emmy from Metroid Dread going up against Spire from Metroid Prime Hunters. I think, so obviously we have Spire fan in our Discord who is a big fan of Metroid Prime Hunters. I think that anytime anyone says like Metroid Prime Hunters 3 times, Spire fan appears like out of thin air right next to them, which I love. So I think that Spire is going to be actively rallying people to go and vote for Spire. But I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. I'm not sure it is, so I picked the Emmy. In my personal bracket, I would, of course, 100% pick the Emmy here, but I think that Spire's rallying is not going to be enough, but I think that this is an interesting matchup, just for that reason, to kind of keep an eye on. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Jules?
So I actually haven't played Metroid Prime Hunter yet, so I'm not too familiar with Spire. So just simply because of that, I went Emmy here. And I think, and of course, going back to, like you said earlier, the Dread being the most recent game, I think Emmy might win just because of that alone.
Right. Well, to be fair, if you haven't played Hunters, there's, like, you're really not missing out on these characters. Like, you might poop on me for saying this to him, but like the Hunters and Metroid Prime Hunters have basically no character to them whatsoever at all. Like, they have like a paragraph of kind of exposition each, but it's very, very bare bones, right? Like,
yeah, they're characters that have the potential to be extrapolated on in the future, which
yes,
I think they'll do. We both think they'll do with Silex and Prime 4, but yeah, like in terms of just what Hunters offers, yeah, it leaves a lot to the imagination. The actual game itself, they're very flat, one-dimensional characters that are primarily there for their abilities in multiplayer.
Yeah, so you're not really missing much by not having played those games, at least in terms of like understanding what what some of the characters are all about there. So yeah, and we got a few more of those. We actually got like a whole schwack of those guys coming up in a row. But Doom, give us your analysis for Emmy versus Spire.
Yeah, so literally right when you posted the bracket on our Discord, the thing that Spire fan responded with, not even a piece of text, it was just a picture of the defeated Emmy
So
with
good.
the little red light just completely missing. Phenomenal response. And I love the enthusiasm, Spire fan. I love you. Unfortunately, though, I don't think it's going to be enough for the reasons that both you and that both Andy and Jules mentioned. Dread's the most recent game. More people have played Dread, literally than any other Metroid game. It's the highest selling Metroid game of all time now. And yeah, it's a mainline entry. It, at least right now, plays a significantly bigger role in the story. And yeah, for those reasons alone, I think Emmy is going to take a sweep. But even though that's going to be my prediction, I do hope that that Spire, if it doesn't eke it out, I hope that Spire gets some good support behind it because I want to see some Spire love for sure.
Yeah, I think that I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Like I don't think it's going to be. I don't think either way. I don't think that the loser is going to get killed in this matchup. Where like you look at.
It's not Ridley
that poor
versus
bastard,
GF
the
Trooper.
Galactic Federation trooper. Like he has just been killed over. This guy is like Prometheus on the rock, just for 1,000 years, just being killed over and over again. So yeah, let's go to our next matchup here. We got I kind of like this matchup, but I think it's gonna be a killing. But we got Rundus versus MB for Metroid Other M, and I'm gonna surprise you guys and vote for MB personally. Obviously, I took Rundus in my bracket, and I think that Rundus is gonna like cream MB. I think it's gonna be a pretty big blowout. But I do think that MB is probably the best executed concept in Metroid Other M. And it's not even executed that well, to be honest, but it's like I love the idea of like this artificial intelligence that's kind of went rogue. And, we're not talking groundbreaking tropes or anything like that. It's kind of a well-worn trope in science fiction. But I think that the idea was really cool. And I think that, like, I don't know. I kind of like the idea and the execution of it. I think that it could have been better executed, of course. Again, kind of like I complained about the Deleter, you'd never really get a boss fight with MB. You just have that really wonky, weird cutscene at the end of the game where you shoot her, and that's kind of it. So it's very anticlimactic, but I think as an idea, I kind of really like this actually, because it's like an evil Adam almost, except if Adam took like a body. So I can get behind that idea, and I'm gonna vote for MB to go through the next round, even if I really like Rundus, and I think he's really cool, but I don't know, something about that evil android idea that just gets me going. So I'm gonna take MB. What say you guys?
That never would have happened if I'd been there. So the end of Metroid Other M, during that weird sequence that you just described, we see MB get frozen before being shot up by the Galactic Federation, and we assume that it's from the ice pistol that
Right.
The real Madeline Bergman is holding, but it is not. It is in fact from Rundus, because Rundus is gonna stomp all over MB. Best boy, or best bounty hunter at least from Prime 3. Obviously, best boy is still Chad Dane, but nonetheless, I love this guy. This guy is a one-liner machine. But not in like a cheesy, corny way. It's like in this feel good way, and it's absolutely gut wrenching that he's the first of the bounty hunters that the game forces you to kill. And I think it's really effective, despite how one dimensional he is. I think it's really effective, and also
agree.
kind of a slightly off topic fun fact. I am actually about to meet the voice of Rundus, Christopher Sabat, at SAC Anime in a couple weeks, and hopefully he'll be able to autograph my sealed copy of the Prime Trilogy. So very much looking forward to that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's sweet. Okay, well, Jules, here it is. This is your big moment here. We've got a tie, and it's all up to you to pick who goes on to the next round. What say you?
Well, ooh, the pressure. I really do agree with you, Andy, in terms of all the stuff that you said. The AI went rogue. I love all that. I think in a perfect world, I would have voted for MB, but I just have to go with Rundus here. I just think it's going to be kind of a runaway almost with this
Yeah.
because of just how popular he is. So that's
Can
going to
I
be my
admit
vote.
something to you guys?
Yeah.
I voted MB because I was pretty sure that you guys were both going to vote Rundus. I don't know if we were looking at a scenario where MB like actually beat Rundus, I don't know how I'd feel about that. But I do feel better now knowing that I stuck up for MB and it was like at least not a clean sweep.
There you go.
So yeah, you did the right thing. Rundus, yeah, the amount of sympathy he generates is off the charts. So
Yeah. It's hard to
okay,
vote against that.
this is the mother of all mother no-brainers coming up next. We got Mother Brain versus Trace. Who's Trace, you ask? Well, he's one of those hunters that doesn't really have anything going on in Metroid Prime Hunters. Who's Mother Brain, you ask? Well, let me tell you. She is the leader of the Space Pirates and Samus's arch nemesis here, and she is punching her ticket into the next round.
Yeah, this is quite literally the mother no-brainer in the matchup.
Yeah. We should coin that phrase.
We should get a T-shirt on that for the new Omega Metroid merch
Yeah.
shop. That's what we
So
need to do.
are we saying mother no brain or no mother brainer?
Oh, how did you say it originally? Did I mess it up
I
when I said it?
originally I was thinking like no brainer, so no mother brainer. But then the
That
last
flows better. I
couple
like that better.
Yeah,
the
I think
last
that's
couple
good.
of times we've been saying it, we've been like myself included have been saying mother no brainer.
Oh, it's probably because I messed it up. I guarantee that's why. I took like a ton of Benadryl about 3 hours ago, so I've been foggy at best here. So, okay, well, Mother Brain. What did we say? Mother. Oh god,
No
no Mother
mother
Brainer. I'm
brainer.
gonna do it again. I guarantee you. Okay. Speaking of a no Mother Brainer here, we've got Ravenbeak versus everyone's pal, the Takora. I love the Takora, by the way. This is a great Metroid character. Helps you out, friendly, flies the ship at the end of Metroid Fusion. But come on. It's up against Ravenbeak here. That's not even fair.
The animals die today.
Yeah, yes they do. Rip.
Yeah, so actually my personal pick is gonna be Decora because Decoras are so cute, and I mean they literally
Okay.
saved Samus in Metroid Fusion with the Etecoons. So we love our buddy the Decoras. Death memes aside. That being said, yeah, I mean this is gonna be a Raven sweep.
Okay.
Without
Well,
question.
Jules, you have the
Yep.
ability to send Takora into the next round if you want, because we're tied at 1.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to go Ravenspeak
Yes.
here. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you just kind of did what I did with MB right there, Doom. You kind of wanted to stick up for Takora a little bit, but
Well, that's gonna be my personal vote. I'm gonna personally vouch for Decora, but like my predictions, like obviously it's gonna be Raven sweep.
right. Okay. Let's move on. We got three matchups left in the first round, and then we'll run through the second round and third round, all that more quicker, I think, than the first round. But let's go with Umas versus Weevil from Metroid Prime Hunters. So Weevil is like, I think, kind of probably other than Silex, like the coolest of the Metroid Prime Hunters. He's a space pirate, and I can't remember much more about him other than he's a space pirate. But he has a cool like yellow looking sword. He kind of, I don't know. He looks cool. Umos is the last of the Luminoth, so he's kind of like a Chozo light. I don't know. I actually feel kind of ambivalent about this matchup. I don't really care for either character that much.
yeah.
I think whoever wins is going to get killed in the next round. So I'll let you guys go first, actually. I don't have a personal vote yet. I think I picked Weevil in my bracket, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember. What do you think, Jules?
I'm kind of indifferent here, so I was literally just gonna say the same. I personally, in my personal bracket went with Weevil. I don't even know really why. Maybe I think he's more recognizable. I'm not sure, but yeah, could go either way.
Doom?
All right. Well, so first I want to fill in some more Weevil lore. So Weevil was actually
Weevil
one of the Zebesians that Samus fought in the NES Metroid, the original title. And he was a survivor, but his spinal cord was separated
Ooh.
from his body. Hence, why in his alt form he can literally separate himself and turn his bottom half into a turret, while his top half turns into like this weird kind of hand tank kind of thing. So that's kind of the lore behind that.
Okay.
Again, Weevil is like this has a really cool potential for being a cool character if given the opportunity to be extrapolated on in the future. I know our buddy Brandon Taylor, that Metroid guy, he actually had a really cool proposal of like making Weevil kind of the Starscream of the Metroid universe, where he's constantly like trying to overtake the space pirates, and he's constantly butting heads with leadership. And I always thought that was a cool concept, but nonetheless, that is purely a fan idea. And in terms of the actual characters, both my personal and prediction vote is going to go to Lamp Boy Umos, the Mothman.
Really?
From Metroid Prime 2. Yeah,
I thought you were going to be Team Weevil for sure.
No,
yeah, that
I'm going.
made it seem like you were going Weevil there.
I'm predicting the Umos upset right here. That's put that in for my prediction bracket.
Jules, should we just team up and send this Umos guy packing?
I thought you didn't have any legs in this fight, Andy. Oh.
Well, there's something about you're just like, this is my boy that makes me want to vote against you. I don't know.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Yeah. Okay, Julie, you pick. What do you want to do here? Who do we want to send to the next round?
Me, you're the tiebreaker here.
Okay, well, I guess that's true. Yeah, I'm gonna boot your boy out, Doom. I'm sorry.
Ooh,
I'm sorry.
Shade.
Ice runs through these veins, baby. Let's go to our next matchup here. We've got Anthony Higgs, the universally liked character from Other M, going up against Candon from Metroid Prime Hunters. Do you have any Candon lore for Jules and myself and everyone else, since I think everyone has a hard time taking or seeing Noxus and differentiating him from Candon and from Trace? Do you have anything that can help us maybe throw Candon a bone here?
Probably not. So what little we know of Candon is he was a biological experiment gone wrong. He was put together using various poisonous insects and bioforms and spliced together in freaky DNA swapping process, according to the game's lore. And now he just kind of does his own thing now. He escaped the lab, blew it up, and he's just kind of a Michael Myers, if you will, just a bloodthirsty killer on the loose in the galaxy. And that's basically the extent of Candon's character. Obviously, this is going to be an Anthony Higgs sweep going on as
I want to say one thing about
character
Candon.
in Other M.
This guy looks like a lava lamp. That's all I have to say.
He looks like a banana slug.
Yeah, kind of.
What's a banana slug?
His alt form even looks even more like a banana slug too.
I feel like I need to Google a banana slug right now.
I don't know if it's safe to Google
basically.
Banana slug. That might not be something you want to do.
Yeah, turn safe search on.
Okay,
no,
so
they're all over. They're all over the redwoods in California. It's basically a giant yellow slug, basically.
So we got Anthony Higgs going on to the next round. Jules, are you going Anthony here, Jules?
Yep.
Have you actually had a chance to play Other M? Probably not. I'm assuming, right?
No, not yet.
That's probably
good. It's on the long list, I will say.
That's probably good. Okay, last matchup of round one here. Wow, we've been going for a while here, and we're just in round one, but that's okay because we'll speed through the next couple here. We got Silex versus Noxus. So here we have two bounty hunters from Metroid Prime Hunters. Can't picture Noxus in my head. I think Trace is the red guy. Who the heck is Noxus? What does he look like again?
Noxus is the blue guy with the Judicator. That's the ice
That's
weapon.
right.
He actually looks a lot like Rundus, and before we found out Rundus' name, a lot of us actually thought that he was Noxus because of the visual similarities between the two.
Yeah, I could totally see that actually, and he does kind of look like. I think that works against Noxus even more so, just because he kind of looks like Rundus Light, which isn't really fair because he came out obviously before Rundus, but yeah, I mean Silex is the one bounty hunter that I think that they have at least tried to build up a little bit. You had the appearance in Metroid Prime 3, you had the appearance in Federation Force, the cameo, which is arguably the best thing about that game. And I think that we're going to see Silex again. Although we're going to be completely reintroduced to Silex, I want to say. So yeah, I think this is a clean sweep for Silex. You know, one thing that I actually learned about Silex not that long ago, like last week, was that at least according to the Smash Bros. Brawl trophies, their pronouns are they, them. So there you go.
Interesting.
I didn't know
I did
that,
not know
actually. So yeah, Silex. Going on to round 2. Do we have any disagreement there?
Yeah, that's easy sweep right there.
Yeah, no.
Oh god, it's a no mother brainer. I was about to do it again. I was about to say a mother no brainer. It was on the tip of my tongue.
And I'm very impressed by Doom being basically a Metroid encyclopedia here for me. So thank you, Doom.
Well, to be fair, I literally just started playing Hunters again, so it's just very convenient timing on my part.
Yes.
Very fresh. I get it.
Okay, so we are going to round 2. We're going to round 2, and half the field is gone. We're gonna start to separate the pretenders from the contenders here, guys. So let's go. We got your boy Chadmiral Dane going up against Samus, and I'm sorry, but I ain't voting against Samus. It ain't gonna happen in my prediction. It's not gonna happen in my personal bracket, and it ain't gonna happen right now. So that's where we're at. Samus, I think, is going to round 3.
Chadmiral Dane is the man, but Samus is the queen, and the queen always takes the gambit, as they say. And so, yeah, this is another easy sweep, right here. I mean, let's be real. Spoilers ahead, but Samus is definitely making it to the final round. We're all in agreement there, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't want to say that for sure, because there's part of me that wants to vote against, because we have the power here on this particular bracket that we're making, because there's only 3 of us, so we have the power to be a little bit different, and we're not picking who we think is going to win. We're picking who we want to win, by God. So I could see myself maybe being a little bit pesky, maybe being a little bit of a devil's advocate here, but we'll see. I'm not voting against her this round, that's for sure.
Yep, definitely not.
All right, so that's a clean sweep. That is another no mother brainer. Let's go. This is kind of a cool matchup. Gandreda versus the SAX. So I think that the obvious pick is probably SAX, but I think that Gandreda is like we were talking about earlier. I think that she's like maybe sneaky popular, because like it's a really cool boss. It's a cool boss fight. I think that she probably has the most character of any of the hunters in Metroid Prime 3. And I think that this could be, if it happens in the real tournament, I think that this could be a sleeper, like, contender matchup. But I think that this is kind of I'm a little bit torn, actually, about who I want to vote for here. So I want to listen to you guys try and sway me. And let's start with Mr. Encyclopedia, Doominal Crossing.
I think this is going to be an SAX sweep, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think Gandreda stands much of a chance, which is ironic, because literally, if you think about it, both the SAX and the Gandreda both have shape-shifting abilities.
Yeah.
So they're a very appropriately similar matchup, but nonetheless, SAX, I think, just has much bigger fan power than Gandreda does backing her. So that's going to be my pick for both personal and prediction.
Okay. What do you think, Jules?
Personally, I want to go Gandreda, but you got to be smart. And I think, yeah, I agree with Doom that there's just going to be so much more backing for SAX. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is our personal bracket, so I think just because you guys have both voted for the SAX now, and the SAX is going through the next round, and my vote is irrelevant now, but I think I'm just going to vote for Gandreda just because, to not see a clean sweep. At least we got 2-1. So
doesn't want to conform to the mainstream.
Yeah, I think that SAX is actually going to get a Metroid Dread boost as well, even though the SAX is literally in a cutscene for like 2 seconds. But I think that that's going to help the SAX. And man, when that Metroid Fusion remake comes out, whenever it comes out in the next couple of years, watch out, because I think the SAX is going to be explode in popularity. All right, Dark Samus versus Crocomire.
Oh, this is a tough matchup.
Voting Crocomire. I'm doing it.
Same. I'm also.
I'm gonna go
love.
Dark Samus here.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
love both of these characters to death, and while I think Dark Samus is easily the coolest character, I mean, come on, it's
Yeah,
Crocomire. It's Crocomire, man.
I
He deserves better.
know.
He
You
deserves to
know,
at least go far in this tournament. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking of his flesh sizzling off of his bones in the depths of
Oh gosh.
Norfair. And you know what? This matchup, it might actually happen in the tournament. There's a good chance that it does, and of course, if it happens, Dark Samus is going to kill Crocomire. But
You
today,
think?
in our bracket, in this podcast right here, we can at least give our boy the time in the sun that he deserves.
Hashtag justice for Croc.
Let's get that trending.
There we go. Okay. You know how at the beginning of this podcast, I said that if it was up to my personal pick, I would have Kraid win the whole thing? I actually lied. I lied because I'm going to vote against him in this next second round matchup where we have the Baby Metroid versus Kraid. I actually kind of think that now that I'm thinking of it, the Baby Metroid is one of my low-key favorite characters of this series. Even though it doesn't really have personality or anything like that, I think that its journey is so, like, I don't know. I kind of love it. I love that the Metroid fights with you in Samus Returns. I love the Metroid's arc and the story that culminates in Super Metroid. It kind of re-culminates in Metroid Fusion, and kind of re-culminates in Metroid Dread. So, yeah, there's something special about this Baby Metroid. I'm voting the baby to go through.
Wow, Andy turned on Kraid so fast after dedicating his life to get him in the finale. Literally, all it took was one round. It's like
Literally
psych,
one round.
that's the wrong number.
I threw him under the bus. I started that bus, and I put it in reverse and backed it up and killed him.
Well, Kraid. If Andy won't support you, then I will. I'll always be there for you. Well, maybe not
Wow.
always, but yeah, I will. I'll pull through you to at least round 2, my man.
Tiebreaker Jules.
I'm gonna back our boy Craig here.
Oh,
Just,
no.
just to bring the Andy down.
Is this because
Correct
we
choice.
booted Weevil out earlier? Is this why this is happening?
Because
Jeez.
you threw him under the bus so fast. I feel bad for him now.
Well, I did throw him pretty fast. Okay. What can I say? Okay, we've got the Ridley. We've got Ridley versus the Emmy in our next second round matchup. I think that this could be another surprisingly close matchup if and when we get to it on in the actual contest proper. I'm gonna vote Ridley, as I think we all are. But I think that this could be a pretty close matchup, especially if you factor in that there's probably a lot of new Metroid fans from Metroid Dread that now know who Emmy is and maybe don't know who Ridley is.
So I disagree with that solely because of Super Smash Brothers, where Ridley was one
You
of,
know what? Good
if
point.
not one
Yeah,
of
good
the
point.
most requested characters of all time in that game. And I mean, obviously, Smash Ultimate just took his popularity beyond what any of us could have ever imagined.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that actually
I would
nullifies
argue
everything
Ridley
I just
is a
said.
bigger name than the Metroid series in general, perhaps even. But that's a discussion for another time. Regardless, the Emmy has absolutely no shot at extracting Ridley's DNA in this fight.
Yeah, I think we're all aligned there.
Yeah. That I think that you actually just like completely dumped all over everything I just tried to lay out there, and rightfully so. You're right. Okay, Rundus versus Mother Brain. I'm voting Mother Brain here. I think this one is easy. I like Rundus a lot, but he ain't no Mother Brain.
I agree. I think I'm going to go Mother Brain as well.
I want justice to prevail, but I have to have a reality check, and this one's going to be an easy Mother Brain sweep. It's a no Mother Brain, if you will.
I was about to call you for saying that wrong. Okay, well here we got another no Mother Brainer. Ravenbeak versus Weevil. And if Weevil's spine wasn't broken before, it's going to be shattered now because Ravenbeak is stomping a mud hole in this guy. In both my personal prediction and my official prediction, Ravenbeak is moving on.
Yeah, it's a Raven sweep.
I'm sorry, Weevil. But
We barely knew ya.
We barely knew ya.
Well, literally, we didn't really know him at all. Anthony Higgs versus Silex. Okay, you know what? This is actually, for me personally, a little bit tougher than I think it might be for you guys. Because, like, I look at Silex and I'm like, what do we know about this guy? Like, he hates the Federation. That's cool. He stole a Metroid egg. That actually is pretty cool. But, like, he's got no character. He's like the rest of the Metroid Prime hunters. He has no character. He's just got a paragraph of exposition about him. But then I kind of think, like, well, what do we know about Anthony Higgs? He's, like, kind of a jolly, like, loyal companion that does help out Samus. So I feel like we know Anthony a little bit better through his actions in Metroid Other M. So I'm a little bit conflicted. Obviously, Silex looks cooler. You can play as Silex and has like the shock coils, and those are cool. But this is tougher for me than I thought that it would be, actually.
So I guess this, by far of all the matchups, this one was the most difficult for me to choose. All the other ones I had pretty much within like 5 seconds at most. I was like, oh yeah, this easy. I'm not even joking. I was sitting in my chair for like 15, 20 minutes just debating myself in my head who I thought would be the winner. And I was at a crossroads for so long. But despite all that, I think I'm going to give my personal prediction to Anthony Higgs on this one, who's going to eke it out over Silex. However, what I will say is if we do this tournament again in the future, post Prime 4, I think there's a very good chance Silex could overtake him. But in the meantime...
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because of what you said, Silex has made those post-credit scene appearances. Other than that, we don't know a lot about him, except for he hates the Federation, and all of his equipment is based off of Federation prototypes. And
to be clear, I think that this match has a really good chance of actually happening in the tournament. And I think that if it does, I think that Silex is going to beat Anthony by, like, a decent amount.
I think Anthony's still going to win, just because Anthony, while a lot of people don't like Other M, Anthony is an insanely popular character. I am not one of those people. I personally think that the only reason people like Anthony is because he's the only person who's not insufferable in Other M. He's the only one who I don't want to shoot in the head. But, a lot of people love Anthony, and Silex, while Silex definitely has a fan base right now, I don't think it's even comes close to the power of Anthony Higgs. No one is going to be remembering Silex after this matchup.
All right, what do you think, Jules? Who are you voting for?
Oh gosh, this one's tough for me. When you guys were talking, I was going back and forth with each point you guys were making. I think I'm going to go Higgs here. I think he's going to eke it out over Silex.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make it 3 for 3 and take Anthony over Silex. Just because I think Silex looks really cool, and I think that the potential is there. And, we're voting on who we like better in this particular matchup. And I think this could change, but as of right now, I like Anthony better. And I doubt we'll ever see Anthony again. We're obviously going to see Silex again at some point. So that could definitely change. But, for right now, I like Anthony more than I like Silex. So Anthony goes on. Okay, so we've got... we're into the third round here. And let's start off with a big one. This one, I think, is going to happen in the tournament as well. So this is a little sneak preview. Samus versus the SAX. And I'm telling you that it's going to be like the final boss battle of Metroid Fusion again, where Samus defeats the SAX once and for all.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Samus. You still can't vote against her quite yet.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, this is like the battle that was destined to happen, or at least one of them. There's another battle we'll get to later, but it's gonna be a fun match to watch. But ultimately, Samus, I don't think Samus is just gonna eke it out. I think this is gonna be a fairly decisive win for our favorite bounty hunter.
I agree. Yeah, I think that Samus is gonna. I think the Samus is gonna do well. Although I'll save this for the later rounds. But I have something to reveal to you guys. But until we get there, we got Kraid, Big Daddy, going up against Crocomire, and I kind of feel like riding this Crocomire train. I don't like Crocomire more than Kraid. I don't. But I was gonna vote the Baby Metroid last round anyways, and you guys killed the Baby Metroid like you were Mother Brain and Super Metroid. So we got Croc versus Kraid, and I don't know. I think I kind of feel like riding that Crocomire train with the, that sizzling flesh that the poor bastard. So that I'm gonna go with my heart and my gut, and I'm gonna vote Crocomire over Kraid, who I'm throwing under the bus again.
I'm also going to throw Kraid under the bus, too, but I never swore allegiance to Kraid in the first place, because, I mean, again, it's Crocomire, man! It's Croc. He deserves something. He deserves something.
Right.
Yeah, I'll stick with you guys on this one. I'll vote for Crocomire here.
Wow, so we have Crocomire in the final four. Not Kraid, not the baby Metroid, not Justin Bailey, but we got our boy Croc.
Justice for Croc. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Rip Dark. This is an impressive run that Crocomire's had. We've taken out Gore, Dark Samus, Kraid. That's a run to be proud of. That's actually like a Cinderella run right there. Let's see if it can keep going. For now, we've got Ridley versus Mother Brain. And I think this is the end of the road for Mother Brain, unfortunately.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, this is going to be a Ridley sweep, hands down.
Yeah.
Well, this Ridley victory is setting up what I think is like actually one of the best matchups that's probably going to happen in this tournament. But we have to get there first. Ravenbeak takes on Anthony Higgs, and again, I think that Anthony has had an awesome run so far, taking out a few of the hunters from Metroid Prime hunters. But you step up against Ravenbeak, that's another level of competition, and a level that I dare say our boy is not ready to stand up to. I think that Ravenbeak takes it for me personally. It takes it for me in my bracket. Ravenbeak.
Yeah, this is going to be all Raven sweep happening down here for sure.
Yep. Don't disagree here.
We've got 3 matchups left, guys, and they're big ones. And we have the incredible Cinderella tale of Crocomire coming to a head against the ultimate challenge, the face of the franchise, the face that runs the place, Samus. What's it going to be? Is this Cinderella story ending? Or are we about to see the absolute biggest upset in the history of Metroid? Doom!
It ends where it began. How the stars align.
Wow. Wow.
I haven't even said my pick yet. You're already saying wow. I haven't said anything.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was assuming. I'm sorry.
I made my assumption as well.
But yeah, I as funny as it would be to have Crocomire just win the crown, I gotta be a realist here, man. It's gonna be Samus again. Samus, with her animal cruelty, is putting Crocomire back in the lava, or the magma, I guess, technically, since it's below the crust. But nonetheless, Crocomire isn't gonna have any flesh in this game any longer. But shh.
Dude, that was like when that guy falls in the lava pit in Austin Powers, and Austin makes like 8 puns in a row.
Yes.
And eventually Vanessa's like, okay, that's enough. Let's go. Jules, what are you thinking here? What are you thinking?
I think the clock is striking midnight on Crocomire.
Oh no!
I gotta go with my girl, Samus, so yeah.
I mean, I think I wanted you guys to go first, just so I wouldn't have to be the one to officially kill Crocomire here. But I would have, because I can't take this Cinderella run any farther. We've got arguably a Mount Rushmore video game character here against Crocomire, whose flesh we burned off, which I really feel bad for, but, that was also kind of his choice. So, Samus goes to the finals. This is a clash of the titans here. Ridley versus Ravenbeak. This is a huge clash between, I might say, arguably the 2 greatest villains of the series. Yeah, so I think that in this matchup, I think that if and when it happens, I think that Ridley's going to win, but I don't think that we should underestimate Ravenbeak. Personally, I think I'll give it to Ridley personally as well. And, I think that we were probably always going to get to this end destination that we have got to. But, yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Ridley. But, man, this to me has, like, big fight feel all over it,
So when you're watching a fight and there's like the big title event, the main card that's like advertising, but then that's really lame. But then there's this other fight before then that's like super hype, and that's the one that everyone ends up talking about on Twitter and stuff. That's this fight right here. Because personally, the main inevitable fight I think is going to be super boring. This I am so excited to see how it turns out. I'm like you. I think Ridley is going to pull it off in the end, but it's going to be.
Yeah.
Ravenbeak isn't going to go peacefully. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a brawl. They are both. Whoever wins is going to be limping their way out of that ring. So yeah, Ridley is going to be my personal and prediction pick. But yeah, very excited to see this fight nonetheless.
I love Doom's descriptions of the fights. Yeah, they really put it in the picture. But yeah, I can't not say Ridley here. I do think it, like you guys said, it'll be very, very close, but it's Ridley.
It's Ridley. And that means that the final is the final that I might suggest that every single one of us got to on our official predictions here. And that is Samus versus Ridley. And I have a confession to make. I took Ridley for the upset in my official prediction. Now, I actually don't think that Ridley's going to win, but my thought process here is, like, I think everybody is going to pick Samus to win the tournament. So, like, I'd have to get, like, every single matchup correct in order for my bracket to have a chance at victory. And I don't think that that's going to happen. So what I might do instead is go for the upset winner just on the chance that it happens. And then, if it does happen, I'll get, like, a schwack load of points at the end. And then I will win the tournament that way because no one else will have picked Ridley. So that's my strategy for the official tournament, and I think I'm going to pick Ridley over Samus at the end here as well.
Andy playing some 5D chess over here. I like it. But ultimately, I'm gonna have to join the mainstream here, join the public opinion, and go for the queen. It's Samus. It's Ridley hasn't won a fight yet. Why is he gonna win this one?
Yeah. Yep,
Ooh,
I agree.
Good point.
Okay, Jules, so the winner of the tournament is up to you. The winner of the Omega Metroid podcast Summer of Metroid Madness character contest tournament is in your hands.
Oh, that's big responsibility. I think the winner's gonna be pretty obvious, but I do think there may be some people who might just go against the grain to go against the grain. So maybe closer than we think, but I'm gonna go Samus.
There it is. There it is. All right. Well, our girl, the absolute legend, Samus, gets the victory in the Summer of Metroid Madness character contest that we have filled out for you guys here. So it was kind of fun to talk about all these different characters, all the different matchups. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And, like I said, if you guys listening had fun with this, it's not too late to get a bracket in. Go and do that. Head to OmegaMetroid.com. Click on the pinned post at the top of the website. Get your prediction in. You can win some Omega Metroid swag by doing so. And I'm really excited about this tournament. And I had a lot of fun breaking down these matchups and this tournament with you guys. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yes, I enjoyed talking about this. Jules, I'm glad you enjoyed my sensory language in describing these fights in more interest detail.
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you for helping me understand the characters a bit more, too. This was a lot of fun.
It was, and it's going to be a lot of fun when this tournament starts on Tuesday, and you guys can also look forward to this episode dropping a little bit early, so there you go. It's a win-win here. So yeah, one last time, head over to OmegaMetroid.com, fill out a bracket, predict who you think is going to win, and you can win some prizes. But that is going to do it for us this week. we are going to get out of here. Thank you guys for listening, for following along. Jules, thank you for coming in so last minute for us here today. You really saved our bacon.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, guys. This was, like I said, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Anytime.
Really appreciate
anytime. All right, we want to encourage you guys to check us out over on Twitter. I am at Spiteri316. Doom is at Doominalcross. Jules is at Julesy Streams. And we are at Omega Metroid Pod. Check us out over on YouTube, over on Patreon, all of that good stuff. And of course, wherever you get your podcasts, like, subscribe, recommend us to that Metroid fan in your life. That is going to do it for us here today. We are going to get out of here. We look forward to seeing what you guys predict in this contest. Until next week, everybody, take care.